Alright, good morning everybody. Saturday morning, we got a big critical day ahead of us today, trying to get the generator up to speed and functioning properly. What are the two problems we have with the generator? The first problem is we have a control board that has gone haywire over a period of time in the rig, and by the control board, I mean this right here. This is a typical generator control board here. It has the on-off switch over here, the middle position being on. You have our neutral. You have a couple relays on there that were taped over before. You have some diodes. You have some transistors. Anyway, one little problem with this board, and it's rendered useless, and that's exactly what we had. We had a situation. Basically, that generator was jumped with the corkscrew through the fuse here, but basically. This board was inoperable. The other issue we have is we have bad wiring between the generator and the control switch inside. So we're going to have a busy day. We are down at the side of the generator here, and the first thing I'm going to be wanting to do today is disconnect the battery. Whenever you're going to be working on installation of new circuit boards or new material within an electronic piece of electronic equipment, you always want to make sure to undo your battery first. At least remove one terminal there so you don't have any power going through the unit. It's an easy way to short out electronic components like diodes and all that. Well, this is where the control board sits in here, and you can see one of the things that was important to do was labeling all those wires, both numerically and alpha wise, by putting the 8 on there and all that, just in case it got taken off. But you can see there's a lot of wires going to this board, and the unfortunate thing is they're all the same. There's no real color coding to them. You can see they're all like a braided white cord there, so it's not like you're going to follow a schematic scheme on that unless you know the numerical locations on the board and what their function is. So that's why you want to label things before you remove the board. Once it was always designed to sit behind this housing in the front of it here, but this was off, and of course a corkscrew was used to jump it down here. Well, we want to do away with that and forget about that if at all possible, and that'll define success, that we don't have to use a screwdriver or a corkscrew on that. So it's time now. I'm going to be disconnecting the battery here from in there, taking that one terminal off, and then we're going to go ahead and mount the new control board. And like I said, we have significant other wiring issues over here. You really can't see. We got a lot of splices. A lot of things have been changed out. It's going to take a while to do some testing today and figure that out. So don't know how far we'll get today, but we shall see. By the way, a lot of people have written me and asked me where you get these control boards, particularly for the old Onan generators. And of course, this was 1974 vintage over here. It's a 6,000 watt model, as you can see down there below. But I picked up ours from a place called Flight Systems. I think you can probably focus on that. They're out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, 717-590-7330. And they test the board before they send it out, which is really great. It runs about $100 or so. So there she is. Just in case you're looking for a board, just remember your like your old boards here, they will have a Onan part number on it. As you can see, the part number down here was the 300B944, and they can spec in an equivalent board for you. So just for those of you that asked about where to get the generator boards, to suggest, if you're going to work on automotive things, you might want to invest in a box of gloves. They have latex free and regular, and you can get in there and you can keep your hands clean, because some of that dirt and oil gets in there. It's very difficult to get off. So just a little tip for you. A lot of automotive places sell these disposable gloves now, and they're great. Keep your hands nice and clean. So I've disconnected the battery. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do exactly what we did, just in reverse order. We're going to go ahead and carefully mount the circuit board on there. And then once we're mounted up, I'm going to get the wiring schematic out and just double check some of these connections. See where they go to, just to make sure that everything is where it should be and there weren't any wires switched around that could cause us problems here in getting the Jenny running. Remember, don't over tighten down the circuit board. It rides on some, get them all just snug down there real good, and then go back and give them one good tighten. You don't want to break the circuit board. It's very thin material, made out of a plastic that's has the etched so that the copper is the actually thing that connects the circuit, and everything else is dead. Everything else is stripped away on the board, the other copper. So these things are fragile. You do not want to over tighten. Just finished doing the securing down of that top row. Let me tell you, that pays big dividends, having everything marked. So when it comes time to do the hookup, there's no guesswork involved in where everything goes. Just remember, you take it apart, you got to put it back together again, right? So just keep rolling on here. When you're working on electronic equipment, it always pays to have a schematic, which is really a nomenclature for describing what electronic components go where, and oftentimes what some of the voltages are between components, like the emitter base collector on a transistor, for instance, or you want to make sure that a diode is functioning properly, that current is only flowing one way. So by having a schematic in hand, you can actually visually trace the flow of electrons through the board, and it's very helpful. The other thing that you want to have and invest in is a multifunction multimeter here, and this thing is great for checking diodes, making sure they're working as one-way gauge. You can also check voltage, milliamps, all types of things here to be able to, resistances, to be able to make sure things are functioning according to spec. So a multimeter is critical. The other thing I like to have, and I got it here somewhere, is a continuity checker. Sometimes the easiest way to check if a resistor or something is blown is just check, put one end on one end of the resistor, one end, and touch on the other end, and that'll tell you if you have an open situation within that electronic component. So want to go ahead and test some things before we put the battery on. There's still some issues here related to some wiring that's crossed up on the board. This thing looks like it's been worked on by about 3 different people over the years, with each of them working the generator more and more out of spec in terms of electronics. So it's going to take a while to recover that, and we get this circuit board fired up. Being able to jump the generator to get it started, like Jerry Garcia did with the corkscrew, is basically useless to us in the RV community. Yes, in a pinch you can go outside and start it, but you have no regulation really on it other than getting it started. And the other issue with that is that if it's inclement weather, raining, cold, or you don't want to go outside to start the generator, you want to have that internal start button on there, which I guess has been dead for years. So okay, 51 on that. So it looks like some wires were removed in the back here on the unit, because we need some type of boost of voltage. We're getting about half of the voltage that we should through here. So now I'm going to be concentrating on this wiring in here, and obviously this has been connected with electrical tape, and I'm kind of wondering if that splice came apart in there. So we're going to pull that and check that, and then see if we can get her fired up. left actually has the open connection. I verified through there. So I took a soldering iron and tinned up some solder and connected the two leads, and now I just want to give it a little bit of weather protection on here. What this will do is maybe allow the control board to finally start the rig for the first time without using the damn corkscrew there. So we've got, as you can see here, I'll bring you guys in. That's one of them. We actually have two situations. So that one's been tinned and made good, and that theoretically goes back to the starter motor there connected through the board. So that's been reconnected, and then we got to figure out this puppy here, whether that's significant or not. So a little more research to do on the schematic, but I think we're moving ahead. That's pretty significant, getting that reconnected again, because it would have been difficult if we weren't running a test with the multimeter and our continuity checker to determine that we had an open position on that, and one that, if reconnected, is not going to endanger the generator. Now what it is, guys, it is moment of truth time here. Got all the connections made up top side, reconnected, all the continuity checked on them, so we should be good to go. So we should theoretically be able to run this generator from the switch out here. So hook the battery up again. So let's give her a whirl. How about that? Pretty nice, fired right up. Alright, here's the boss. We're going to let you hit the start switch there. Hold it down until it starts and then let go. Happy girl. There we go. Guys, it's been a hell of a morning. Missy Jen over here riding shotgun. Now, how did it feel to be able to just push that button instead of using a corkscrew on that damn generator? You know what, guys? But that's only part one of the video today. What's the other thing? The other challenge we have is the inside start button. We don't want to have to come out here every time and hit that button. So part two, guys, make sure you stay tuned. Will we get the inside control working? We've got significant wiring issues going up to that, so we shall see. We had a lot of wiring issues to cover off here, so stay tuned for part two of today's exciting generator repair work. And what do you think, honey?
Rosie did an incredible job.
We did it. We do it here on the
taking that switchboard thing out, put the new one in, rewired it.
Yeah, we had some wiring issues up top, but we're in good shape. So the real question, next time you see Jen on the video, she'll be pushing that button. Will it work or won't it?
Hopefully be sitting in a captain's chair when I do
we
that.
have to stand in the doorway there. That's where it is, next to when you walk in on the left hand side.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
We'll see, guys. Stay tuned for part two today, okay? Tell them bye-bye.
Toodles.